We are cooking Mediterranean style in the kitchen with Lauren Kendzierski. She's the chef and owner of Chanterelle To-Go. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
We are making a food with a new kind of grain, is that right?
Well, it's not a new grain. It's actually an ancient grain, if you will.
I think it's new to a lot of people out there.
Yeah, it definitely is. What we're using is Farro. It's also known as triticale, and it's an ancient grain. It has a really nice chewy texture. It can have a nuttiness. It's something you can toast. You can use it in so many different applications, from salads to what we're using today is a risotto. So instead of your traditional rice risotto, which is, you know, great for you, it's still a gluten-free option, but what we're gonna do is mix it up a little bit. People that are looking for gluten-free options, this is something, a different flavor, a different texture, and it's really healthy because it's a whole grain.
Exactly, because so often people say that rice is empty calories, and Farro has some nutritional value to it.
Has a lot of great nutritional value, and the way we're cooking it, very simply, but over a little bit of, with all these added vegetables and great dairy, healthy dairy options, that we're gonna make this a full meal with protein and all the different grains and vegetables that you need for a balanced meal.
Well, I can't wait to dig in, so let's start cooking. How do we go about doing it?
All right, it's actually a really simple meal. So something great that you could do with kids at home, because there's minimal knife involvement. So we're gonna start with a tablespoon of butter, actually.
Oh, okay.
And we're gonna throw that into the pan. And just let that get warm.
Because are we going to toast the grain a little bit first before we start putting the water in?
We are going to get the butter melting, and we're going to add some shallots. Now, shallots, I like to use them with butter. It's a little less pungent than garlic, and also than onions. So it's nicer also if you have kids. They might not be into onions.
That's
I know
true.
my brother was always anti-onion.
Well,
this is a little easier, and it also melts into the dish a little bit, so you can't really even notice that they're there
And
anymore.
the onion family is wide too. There's a lot. There's, you know, the shallots, the spring onions, and all this good stuff in there. So we start with the butter, and then once the butter starts to melt a little bit, we throw the shallots in first. I'm sorry, or the Farro?
The shallots. You can toss them in if you want. Yeah, absolutely. Just
now, how many shallots? Does it matter?
This is a one large shallot. That's what you generally find at your grocery store, although I get local ones from the farmer's market. They tend to be a little smaller, so you have to use a couple, but that's up to you. And you can also use more or less according to your taste. If you are a little wary about the garlic or oniony flavor, go a little less. That's fine. It's up to you. So we're just going to get this
sauteing
up a little bit. And
do you want those to be translucent? Do you want them to start to caramelize?
You want them to get a little translucent, but we're going to be adding the Farro in, toasting it, and then adding water and cooking it for quite a period of time. So it's not really, you know, very pertinent because it's going to cook anyways.
Exactly.
And you don't have to worry about it, especially if you're in a hurry at home cooking for your family. Don't worry about it.
And the thing with risotto that's a little more cooking intensive is that it's not just like pasta where you throw in however much water you want and then simmer it out.
Well, with this, you can.
Oh, really?
With arboreal rice, in order to get the creaminess out, you have to slowly add liquid and take your time and be around the pot the whole time. The great thing about this is we're going to throw this in, toast it up, and add the water, and you just can let it go until it's ready, and then we'll finish it up. So you could also even throw this in the crock pot before you go to work and come home and just finish it up at the end of the day, and you'd be ready to go. You wouldn't have to worry about it.
Now, in the meantime, I see some root vegetables. What are we going to do with these?
We're going to shave these in.
Okay.
So if you wanted to shave some, what we're going to do, I'll show you. We're going to do long, nice slices.
Oh, so not like these. We'll
not
snack
like
on these later.
This is peeled. I peeled them. Notice how clean they are compared
Very
to
clean.
these. These are spring root vegetables, and we're going to cut big ribbons like this. Then you don't even have to cook them. You just stir them in, and they're so delicate that they're going to cook all the way through when you just add it into the warm
because they're so thin.
Because they're so thin. This is also, you can add this to any pasta sauce, and it's a great way to, you can do it with zucchini.
And if you grab one of these, this could be a perfect, you know, a piece of art for the plate too. Look at that.
Yeah, look at it, nice and curly.
Maybe later you can teach me how to do a better job of this.
So we have carrots. We're using spring vegetables. So carrots and parsnips that come right out of the ground in the spring are sweet because they've been in there all winter. And they, instead of having kind of like almost like a tart, lemony kind of taste that they do in the fall, they have this like really sweet, delicate flavor, and they're really a lot nicer. So if you can get them locally at your farmer's market, or at your grocery store, you see a local farm spring parsnips.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Well, it's
They're
that time of year
different.
too, so this is a perfect recipe for this time of year. I'm smelling some simmering over there, so can we start throwing
Go for it.
this in? All right, let's do it.
Put it all in there.
And I think we're going to take a little break because I want you to get started on that. In the meantime, we'll check in a little bit later. Sounds good?
Sounds great.
All right, so we're going to check in a little bit later in the show. But coming up today, we're back in the kitchen with Lauren Kendzierski. She's the chef and owner of Chanterelle To-Go. Thank you so much for sticking around.
Awesome.
You've been hard at work since we've left you. You've been adding water, is that right?
We took the farro that we had toasted and we just added some water and simmered it. And now it's all simmered down.
Ooh.
And it smells really awesome.
And so that's the shallots,
butter, water, and farro. That's it.
That's it.
Now you could use stock if you have it around the house, but I like to just use water because if you do it right, you don't need to.
And sometimes stock has all those chemicals or salt in it, extra salt that you just don't need.
So we're just going to finish this off really quickly by adding some yogurt, actually, which is a great option. You can use whatever you normally have. I suggest Greek yogurt because it's a little thicker and it'll give you like a nice creamy, a little bit creamier.
Now, is this substituting for anything?
Well, instead of adding a ton of cheese, you can add yogurt. It's healthier and you still get the same
creamy consistency that people love.
Creamy consistency that, let's be honest, everybody loves.
That's why you're eating risotto. I mean, let's not kid ourselves.
So we just add a little bit of yogurt, and like I said, use whatever you have in the house as long as it's plain, unflavored, and you're good.
And it seems like 1 cup of yogurt, or if people get those little ones in the store, it's about yay big, just one of those tubs.
One of those like little Greek yogurt individual servings, perfect. So we add the yogurt. We're gonna add some Parmesan cheese because you have to. I mean, that's the thing. Risotto is not meant to be a healthy dish. If it was, it wouldn't taste good. And we're going to add herbs. These are fennel fronds. They're the tops of the fennel. You can add anything. Parsley, basil, whatever you have, whatever you
I think I've done it with spinach before, or asparagus.
Whatever you have in the house.
Or whatever's in the market, too.
Whatever's at the market. If you grow something on your windowsill, throw it in. It really doesn't matter. Rosemary, thyme, anything you want to do. And we're getting to that time of year, too, where all the farmers markets are opening up, and you're seeing kind of the first springs of spring, you know what I mean? No, absolutely, and they look so much nice. It's like amazing. It's a sign of spring. We're just gonna add in our vegetables. You can just grab them, throw them in. This easy? Yeah, and you can add as much or as little as you want. It's obviously up to you if you want to peel a little bit more. Now, once again, it's carrots and parsnips, right? Parsnips, which I feel like don't get enough love, but they're really delicious. All right, let's give parsnips some more love, everyone. They're really great. They don't have a strong flavor. They're very light. There we go, just some extra parsnips because they don't get enough love, so let's give them some more love. Exactly. Now this is our finished dish right here. It's easy to plate, and then you just maybe provide a little garnish of everything else, a little extra cheese, because why not? Exactly. Well, thank you so much. This looks absolutely tremendous. I can't wait to dig in. If you want this recipe, it's easy, and you can visit us online at mymassappeal.com later today.